Calaroga Shark Media. Hello and welcome to Ghost. This episode is titled 7 Swans Are Swimming the Lake of Secrets.
In the quaint, snow-covered town of Greendale, adorned with festive Christmas lights and nestled among evergreen pines, lies Lake Pelton, a magical and serene body of water. This lake is famed for its 7 majestic swans, each radiating an enchanting, almost magical grace, especially during the holiday season. The tranquility of Greendale was disrupted when a local young artist named Britta, known for her Christmas-themed paintings featuring the swans, was found lifeless by the lake, adorned in a festive dress. Britta's art often depicted the swans in a mystical winter wonderland, attributing to them a celestial charm. The legend spoke of these sisters, famed for their beauty and grace, cursed by a jealous enchantress who resented their bond. By day, they were swans, gliding gracefully across the icy lake. By night, they regained their human forms, bound eternally to the wintry shores. As Greendale prepared for Christmas, eerie happenings ensued. Residents reported ghostly sightings near the lake, with the swans' behavior becoming increasingly strange, as if conveying a desperate message. Among these apparitions was Britta herself, her spirit seemingly restless, bound to the lake just like the 7 sisters. Her ghostly presence was often seen at dusk, sketching in the air with ethereal fingers, as if trying to complete her final, unfinished masterpiece. In the weeks following Britta's untimely demise, the residents of Greendale felt a chilling change in the atmosphere around Lake Pelton. Her spirit, restless and seemingly tormented, began to make its presence known, not just as a benign apparition, but in a manner that sent shivers down the spines of those who encountered it. On a frosty, fog-laden night a few days before Christmas, Anne, a student, encountered Britta's ghost by the lake. As she walked, the mist around the lake thickened, swirling in strange patterns. Suddenly, Britta's ghost materialized before her, her eyes hollow and her mouth agape in a silent scream. The ghostly figure reached out towards Anne with a desperation that spoke of unfulfilled dreams and a life cut tragically short. The air around her turned icy cold, and a mournful whisper seemed to echo from the depths of the lake, enveloping Anne in a blanket of fear. Terrified, she ran from the lake, her heart pounding, vowing never to return after dusk. Jeff, a local teacher known for his skepticism, scoffed at the tales of Britta's ghost until he faced his own harrowing experience. Walking home one night from a Christmas party, perhaps with one drink too many in him, he decided to cut across the path that circled the lake. As he neared the water, he felt an eerie sensation, as if being watched. Turning around, he came face to face with Britta's spectre, her face contorted in an expression of anguish. The ghostly Britta seemed to reach into Jeff's soul, evoking his deepest fears and regrets. Overcome with a sense of dread so powerful it rooted him to the spot, Jeff could only watch in horror as the apparition faded into the mist, leaving behind a lingering sense of despair. Was it real, or was it the alcohol? These encounters spread through Greendale like wildfire, adding to the lore of Lake Pelton. Britta's ghost, once a subject of sympathetic whispers, had now become a symbol of the haunting and unexplained mysteries that lay in the heart of the town. The once tranquil lake, now shrouded in an aura of fear, continued to hold its secrets close, with Britta's restless spirit a reminder of the thin veil between the living and the spectral world. The key to the mystery lay with an old reclusive historian, Mr. Hawthorne, who, upon hearing of the strange happenings, decided to reveal a long-kept family secret. His ancestors were responsible for the sisters' curse, a punishment for a forbidden love affair between one of the sisters and a Hawthorne ancestor that had taken place on Christmas Eve. To break the curse, a ritual was needed, one that would reconcile the past misdeeds and free the spirits bound to the lake. Led by Mr. Hawthorne, the town gathered by the lake under the full moon of Christmas Eve. The ritual to free Britta's spirit was a mix of yuletide customs and supernatural elements. Participants, dressed in black with red and green accents, gathered by the lake under a starry sky, candles in hand. The lake's surface mirrored the night, the surrounding trees adorned with Christmas lights. The chosen few gathered at the edge of Lake Pelton, their faces barely visible in the flickering light of the candles they held. The lake's surface was eerily still, reflecting the dark sky and the twisted shapes of the gnarled trees that lined its bank. The air was heavy with a mix of incense and the damp earthiness of the lakeside. Each participant was robed in black, their eyes fixed on the still waters, anticipating the emergence of Britta's spirit. In the center of the group, an old weathered book was opened, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and texts in a language long forgotten by most. The ritual began with a low, haunting chant, the words resonating across the lake, seemingly absorbed by the water. The participants, moving in a slow, almost trance-like procession, circled the lake, their chants growing louder, more urgent. With each step, they sprinkled a mixture of rare herbs and salt into the water, creating ripples that spread across the surface. As the ritual reached its crescendo, the air around the lake seemed to thicken, a palpable tension building in the atmosphere. The water began to stir, swirling in unnatural patterns, as if responding to the invocation. A dense mist rose from the lake, enveloping the group, obscuring their forms, and turning the scene into a ghostly tableau. In the midst of this spectral fog, a figure began to take shape. Britta's ghost, more defined than ever, emerged from the lake, her expression one of sorrow and longing. Her eyes, luminous in the dim light, met those of the ritual participants, conveying a silent plea for release from her earthly bonds. The final part of the ritual was the most chilling. A lone participant stepped forward, carrying an antique locket that had once belonged to Britta. Whispering an ancient incantation, they opened the locket and placed it upon the water's surface. The lake absorbed it, the ripples glowing with an ethereal light, as if accepting the offering. As the locket disappeared, Britta's apparition began to fade, her form becoming less and less substantial, until all that remained was a soft glow on the water's surface. The mist started to dissipate, and the lake returned to its still, serene state, leaving the participants in a silence that was both relieved and mournful. As the ritual reached its climax, the lake began to shimmer with an ethereal light. The swans gathered in a circle, their bodies glowing, and one by one they faded away and transformed into the spectral forms of the sisters. Britta's spirit joined them, her face serene, as if she had found her own kindred spirits. With a final harmonious chorus, the spirits of the sisters ascended into the night sky, leaving behind a trail of luminescent feathers. Britta's spirit too disappeared, her unfinished artwork forever imprinted on the banks of Lake Pelton. Midnight struck. It was no Christmas, and to all, a good night. By sunrise, Lake Pelton became a place of wonder and peace, an idyllic Christmas with fresh, puffy snow covering the Own. As the years passed, your community of Greendale prospered, and the story of the 7 sisters became a tale of redemption and love passed down through generations. Visitors to the lake often spoke of a comforting presence, a gentle reminder of the enduring bond of sisterhood and the power of forgiveness.
Ghost is a Calaroga Shark media production, written and hosted by Alexander Ian McIntyre, produced by Mark Francis, executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. Calaroga Shark Media.